So I'll be talking about how we can set app default using Microsoft Intune. So before going to the subject, I'll give a quick intro about me, myself, Vaishnav. I have been in the industry almost 10 plus years, and I'll be handling SCCM Intune and device management technologies. And I'll write vlogs and impart my knowledge via HDMT community. You can see this is my LinkedIn handle. You can feel free to follow me there as well. So talking about today's agenda, we are taking this particular session with an example like Outlook New. So we can set app default using so many other apps as well. Just for the relevant topic, I'm using Outlook New as an example in this case, and we will talk more about the policy CSP for application defaults and OMA-URIs. Then we will create the profile in Intune for that set Outlook New as default app mail client, and we will talk more about how to export the default XML file and encode it into Base64 format. And again, we are achieving this policy using custom profile. So we will be setting this policy via OMA-URI, and later we will deploy and monitor the policy via Intune. And after that, we will check how the end user experience will be. And later on, you can feel free to ask your question during the demo session. Also, if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the chat. We can take it once I have completed the session. So that's about today's agenda. So regarding the new Outlook, so we already know there is a new Outlook already introduced by Microsoft. Again, there is a modernized version of Microsoft Outlook application, and it designed to provide an enhanced user experience and improved performance and better integration with O365 services. That is the major thing what I am looking for as an engineer, because there is so many integration with Microsoft 365 services. You can see few of the points I have mentioned. It having the modernized interface and enhanced performance as well. And again, as I already told, there is a lot of integration with Microsoft 365 as well. And there should be a unified inbox. You can add multiple inbox in Outlook New, and that is a very good option. And you can see there is one URL I have mentioned here. So Microsoft already provided a brief intro about the new Outlook version. So let me just play that video for you.
The new Outlook for Windows brings the latest features and a new design to your Outlook app. Let's look at some of the changes. Starting on the left, the new navigation helps you to quickly access your email, calendar, contacts, or any other app you frequently use. At the top, the ribbon now has a clean, simplified look, but you can still switch back to the classic ribbon if needed. Also, you can customize the ribbon to ensure you have easy access to everything that is important to you. The new Settings section gives you access to all of your Outlook settings for accounts, general settings, mail, calendar, and people. Back on the Accounts tab, you can add additional email accounts so that you can access everything from one place. You can also do this from the bottom of your folder list. If you want a quick look at your day without switching to your calendar, open the My Day panel to see everything that's happening. And if an email is important to you, pin it to the top of your folder. Categorize it, a function that has been updated for the new Outlook, or snooze it if you want it to be redelivered later when you're able to address it. And if you need a function that isn't yet supported in the new Outlook, use the toggle to quickly switch back to Classic Outlook to access the functionality you need. Explore all these great features and more in the new Outlook.
So going back to our today's agenda, so why we took Outlook as an example, because you already saw that in the video, it's a most relevant topic. So that is the reason I took Outlook new as an example, and why we need to set a default new Outlook as a default mail client. Again, there is a lot of other aspect as well. Even I just mentioned few of the points over here. It is having the streamlined email handling and improved productivity as well. There is a lot of system integration also happening in this new Outlook, and whatever the mail client you have setting as a default, and we have security and privacy options also more in this new Outlook, and it is ease of troubleshooting. If you set all your default mail client into a single umbrella, it will be easy to troubleshoot as well. So those are the few points I just mentioned why we need to set a default email app. So coming back to the policy CSP, the next agenda of our today's topic, policy CSP. Again, I am not going to deep dive into that, but I'm just giving a brief idea how policy CSP will take action here. So the policy configuration service provider enable the enterprise configuration policy of Windows 10 and Windows 11, and use this configuration service provider to configure the company policies. So you can see over here in this particular example, we are talking about the default association configuration, and you can see over here also this is the device-based OMA-URI what we are using in this particular example. There should be user-based OMA-URI, but for this particular example, we are going to set it for the device. And to more into that, this policy allow the administrator to set default file type and protocol association with association, and the association file can be created by using the DSM tool. So we can export that default association, and we can modify based on our needs. And I already wrote it down here. We can encode the Base64 format, and we can um, apply the policy via using Intune. So that's what we are going to do with the OMA-URI and the policy CSPs. So going to the next slide. What is OMA-URI? Again, I am not going to deep dive into the OMA-URI settings, but just giving a brief intro about that. Uh, Windows client custom profile, and it is an open mobile alliance uniform resource identifier that is called OMA-URI, and the config and the configure and different features settings, and these settings are typically used for mobile device manufacturer to control their device and features. So as I already mentioned, this is the device scope what we are going to use, and there should be one user group also. Since we are using device scope, I only mention device scope in this slide, and this is the uh, example for that device scope. And since I already mentioned, like, we are going to achieve this policy using um, custom templates, so we have to add few of the data over the custom templates as well. So you can see we can add that particular option in Intune portal, and we need to give that OMA-URI name of the identifier, and if any description is required, we can add that description also in Intune portal. And again, this description is optional, but OMA-URI, it's a case sensitive, and we already we already told you, like, OMA-URI is most important for this particular policy. And regarding the data type, we have lots of options available in Intune portal: Base64 file, boolean, string, data, date and time, and string and floating point and integer. So for this particular policy, I'm going to use a particular string as a data type, and that's how we are going to set up a default association policy in today's example. So again, just for the support environments, as we already told, like, device is the scope in this particular policy, and the additions, Windows additions are supported, like Pro, Enterprise, Education, Windows SC, IoT Enterprise, and Enterprise long-time service channel also supported for this policy. And the applicable OS will be Windows 10 1703 onwards. So the minimum version should be Windows 10 1703. So if in that case, we can configure this policy on your Windows device. So that's about the support environments. And again, how we can export our default XML file of our new Outlook into default mail client. To export the default XML, so first two options are available. So if you really want to do it on a test environment, first you can set your app into that particular default name. If suppose you are configuring Outlook new as a default app, you can configure that, and you can take a um, export of the dsum command of the default application association. Then you can add whatever the association identifiers are required. So in that way you can do that. Or if you are familiar with what is the application name of your of your app, so you can you can mention that particular app as well. So in this case, I already mentioned Outlook new is our application name, and there is two components or the identifier are required, that is .eml and mail to. So those are the two requirements we need in this particular example. So that also we will show it in the demo. So again, how we can, once we take the XML file, how we can convert into base64 encode format. So again, you can take this XML output and put it into your favorite base64 encoder app. There are so many apps or the online apps are available. So in this particular example, I'm taking baseencode.net as an example. So here we will put that XML file of our default application, and we will encode it, and that value, that string, we will take as an example, or we will configure with that uh, base64 output format. So that's all for this slide, and it's demo time now. Intune portal. So you can see over here, I have already logged in with my administrative credential. And to configure this policy, I'm just clicking on devices, Windows, and here I'm click on configuration. And I'll click on create and new policy. Platform, I'll be selecting as Windows 10 and later, and profile type will be template. I already mentioned we are configuring this particular policy with custom template. Again, previously Intune doesn't have much inbuilt templates, but nowadays Intune added lots of templates in Intune portal. So again, if you really want to configure custom policies, still it is possible, but most of the policies are already inbuilt with Intune nowadays. So I'm just clicking on custom and click on create. So I'll be giving a name here, just a second. So since we took Outlook new as an example, I'm just giving set Outlook mail client as Outlook new, and the platform we already selected, and the profile type also we already selected as type. So now we need to add the configuration settings. This is where I already mentioned we need to mention the OMA-URI. So for that, I'm just clicking on add and giving the same name here also for the OMA-URI settings. And description, again, it's an optional one, you can configure it later also. So regarding the OMA-URI settings, this is the OMA-URI settings which is already available in Microsoft website for this particular requirement. So I'll post that reference link also once I completed the session. So again, we need to set the data type here. So to set this data type, I already told we are selecting string, and the value we need to identify, or we need to retrieve from the XML to the base64 code format. So for that, I'm just logging into one of my device. Just give me a second. I just logged in one of my test device, and I'll pull the association XML file from this machine itself. So for that, we need to run, as I already mentioned, we need to run the dism command, dism command for that. So this is the dism command we already mentioned in the PPT. So for that, I'm just opening command prompt as an admin privileged. So just pasting the command over here. It is dism online export default app association, and I am giving the output file in this c default apps.xml path. Just execute the command. You will get the output in C drive, and the output file will be default apps.xml. So this is the file just now created. So here we can see what are the default application configured in this particular device. So this is for all the device IDs or the program IDs or the association identifier in this machine. So here we only require uh, mail to and .eml for our requirement. So I'm just typing and searching .eml. So you can see over here, right? So right now it is configured as a base mail ID. So it is not configured with Outlook. So I'm just copying that one and just pasting here. And we also require mail to. That is the another association identifier we required in this particular example. So you can also see here the mail to is already configured in default mail app. So that also I'm just copying. Okay. So another thing what we want, since it's an XML, we need the header body we already copied. The header will be similar. So just copy, sorry, just copy the header of the XML. So then only we can encode it based on our requirement. And the closing header will be this default tab identifier. So this is what we require in this particular example. So it will start the header and body and the close headers. So .eml and .mail to. So again, currently it is configured as our default mail app. So we need to change this application name into Outlook New. So again, Outlook New, I already have that name with me. So if you have any issues, or if you are not familiar with what is the association identifier name, so you can check, you can change your identifier and you can pull this report. It will also show the what is the current or what we are going that, that particular name. So that also we can in that way also we can check the identifier name. So since I already know, I'm just copying Outlook New here, and here also I'm just changing the mail to Outlook New. So this is what we require to uh, encode the identifier. Just I'm copying this one, and as I already mentioned, I'm just open base64 encode.net. Again, you can use other encode base64 encode application as well, and I'll be pasting the input string here, and if you click encode, it will be encoded in the below format. So we require this particular string to configure our policy. I'm just copying the policy, the output file, and going back to my Intune portal. So this string only we need to configure here. So once we enter the value of our particular string, we can click on save. So our configuration settings has been completed, and um, now we can click on next. here we can scope. If you have any different scope, you can go with your the other scopes as well. So currently we already have the default scope configured. So I'm just leaving that page as it is and going to the assignment. I'm just adding include group and adding one of our HTML test group, device group. Again, it's a device group since it's a device based policy. So I'm selecting that particular group, click on OK. Now it will be the applicability rule. So again, it's optional. Either you can configure it or in this example, I'm just configuring assign the policy if since I'm using my Windows edition as Windows Enterprise. So it's Windows 11 Enterprise. I'm just selecting Windows 10, 10 and 11 Enterprise edition. So if it will satisfy this particular applicability rule only, it will going to apply. So again, it will be really helpful in the production scenarios as well. So once we set that one, I'm just clicking on next. So now we can review our custom policy, and in case if you require any change, you can do the changes now also. So for now, everything looks fine for me. I'm just click on create. So again, it will take a few minutes to create the policy, not more than 1 or 2 minutes. Let's wait for that. Once it is configured, we can initiate, since it is deployed as an required mode, whenever the machine got synced with Intune, immediately it will take effect. So just waiting to create the policy. Okay, the policy has been created, I think. Yes, the policy has been created, and if you click here again, devices, Windows configuration, and the policy what we have configured now, right? So just click on that. You can see the devices is not synced yet. So let me go back to my machine, and for now I'll show you how the current settings will be. 1 second. So go to settings, apps, click on default apps. So we can search our mail here. So right now you can see it is configured with the default Windows 10 or 11 mail client. So once the policy gets applied, you can see here these two options .eml, right? .eml file, and the mail to protocol got changed based on our policy setting. So for that, I'm just click on accounts, work and school, and manage default directory. Click on info, and I'll manually sync the machine. So once it is synced, we can see in the Intune portal itself, it will the policy will come in succeeded state. So for that, maybe it will take 1 or 2 minutes to complete the sync. So again, if you have any questions, you can by that time, if you have any questions, you can feel free to paste it in chat, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions as well. So we will wait for 1 minute, and we can also check this policy with event log as well. So you can open event log and go to Windows logs and application and servicing logs in that Microsoft Windows. Under Windows, you can find this particular device management enterprise diagnostic provider, right? There will be three subfolders for admin, autopilot, and operationals. For all the OMA-URI policies and all, the logs will be reflected here. So we can wait for that as well. So it will take effect once the device got successfully synced. So just waiting for that. I'll also paste few of the reference URL for this policy and OMA-URIs and whatever the Microsoft mentioned regarding the CSPs also. So you can go through that articles as well to understand more about the OMA-URI and the CSPs, whatever we are using in Intune. Yes, now you can see once the device got synced, you can see it is showing success here, success in Intune portal. Now we can check whether it will take effect in our targeted machine or not. So just going to the settings tab. Yes, it's already opened. Application and default app. And might be sometimes while we already use this as an OMA-URI, right? So might be one reboot also required. I'm not sure if it is not set it. Okay, it's not yet completed. So might be we'll reboot the machine and we'll see whether it is changed or not. Just going back to the settings option, default apps, and we will search for our default mail client. So it should be changed. Not sure why it is not changed, but our policy is success, and whatever the OMA, whatever the encoded format also, I'll just verify with my working one. So this is the XML format we have configured. So everything seems to be correct.
Yeah,
Let me
it's
click on
good, Vaishnav. No worries. You
yeah,
can troubleshoot on that, and it happens, right? So, the troubleshooting steps which you are going through is also good experience for the attendees, because we
correct,
most of the time we need to go through the troubleshooting and we don't know where to start and how to start, right? So this is kind of
correct.
giving the real world experience for all of us, right? So that's good. And if you need more time, that's also fine. We can come back after Sujin's presentation. So we'll
Sure,
take
sure, Anup.
yeah, we'll take another 2 to 3 minutes. We'll try, and then
Ah,
we'll go to Sujin's presentation and come back.
yes.
Yes.
So I have already verified the code. Everything was looks fine, and even we can see the result in the Intune console itself. But actually, what happened? So after I did a multiple sync, right? So it got worked. So I'll be pulling the default XML file once again to check whether it is changed or not. Just opening command prompt as an admin and pasting our DISM command to export the default app association XML. So I'll giving some new name. Let's see whether it's reflecting in the XML file also. Just click on enter. So it will be creating a new default tabs XML in C drive. Yeah, you can see the default XML got created, and I'll be looking for .eml file. So you can see, right, the default application got changed to Outlook New as we configured, and there is a mail to uh, identifier also, association identifier also. We need to check it. So that also got changed to new Outlook New. Those are the policy we already targeted. Let's check whether it is changed in the settings screen also. Click on settings, apps, default apps, and mail. Yeah, you can see both the .eml and mail2 also got changed, and it is also reflecting in the XML file as well. So again, nothing I have done, just sync the device once again. Maybe I have configured the same policy yesterday to check everything was working. I'm not sure, maybe that was the reason, because we are not getting any error in Intune, and even I checked the logs as well. There is no errors in the logs also.